to mundo fine, night train to the end. Running hard and running fast to meet my future and away from my past. Taking the gamble that cannot last. Night train to the end.
Hi everyone, this is the Frater H. Night Show, and our first article is a 2,000-year-old skull shows evidence of ancient surgery. A skull housed in the Museum of Osteology in Oklahoma has caused quite a stir in the archaeology community. The 2,000-year-old skull of a Peruvian warrior is thought to be one of the world's oldest examples of advanced surgery. Experts believe that the warrior sustained this head wound during battle. When the warrior was brought back from the war, Peruvian surgeons implanted a piece of metal in his head to help heal the injury. Miraculously, the warrior survived both his injury and the surgery. The remarkable specimen is an example of Peruvian elongated skull. Skull elongation is an ancient form of a body modification practice in cultures throughout Western Europe, the Americas, the Far East, and Africa. This was a practice that showed social status in the Americas. To achieve this look, a baby's head would be bound with bandages or secured between two wooden plates to distort its growth. It's astonishing that the warrior survived the surgery to begin with, but also when we factor in that there was no real anesthesia at the time. In a Facebook post, the Museum of Osteology points out how tightly the broken bone surrounding the repair is fused together, which indicates a successful surgery. In another Facebook post, the museum writes that although we can't guarantee anesthesia was used, we do know that many natural remedies existed for surgical procedures during this time. The museum also stresses that the material was not poured into the warrior's skull as molten metal. A spokesperson for the museum told the Daily Star, "We don't know the metal. Traditionally, silver or gold was used for this type of procedure." Head injuries were fairly commonplace in Peru thousands of years ago. Projectiles like slingshots were used during battles, which caused terrible head injuries. Peruvian physicians must have found a way to deal with the wounds. In fact, according to John Verano, a physical anthropologist in Tulane University, the survival rate of these procedures was surprisingly high at about a 70% success rate. The skull is currently on display for the public at the Museum of Osteology in Oklahoma. This next story is scientists with nothing better to do create a bubble that lasted 465 days before popping. We're willing... right away, I'm almost thinking like, this is the use of good grant money. Good grant money. Because you can't just say, "Oh, so what did you do with our grant money?" Nothing. Oh no, we made a bubble and we were seeing how long we can keep it up. That's good. Yeah, that's why we pay you millions of dollars in grant money. That's good. Good job. Okay. We're willing to bet that as a kid that most of us blew bubbles and tried to see which ones lasted the longest. We're not willing to bet that none of them lasted more than a few fleeting moments. Now scientists have pulled off the seemingly impossible, leaving our childhood attempts in the dust. In a new study, researchers at the University of Lille in France created bubbles that can live as long as, it's a university. It's grant money. Gotta do something, okay? Gotta do something. University of Lille in France created bubbles that can live as long as 465 days. They did, however, take some liberties. So bubbles are by essence fragile and ephemeral. The study's authors wrote to their paper, "We designed bubbles made of a composite liquid film able to neutralize all these effects and to keep their integrity with more than 1 year in a standard atmosphere. According to APS physics, the team studied a type of bubble known as gas marble. Previous research has known that plastic beads packed on the bubble's shell can make it strong enough to be held in a hand or rolled along a surface. But this was the first time scientists studied the bubble's lifespan. So the team set up an experiment and blew 3 different types of bubbles, including soap bubbles, water-based gas marbles, and water glycerol-based gas marbles. Soap bubbles lasted unsurprisingly the shortest amount of time, normally less than 1 minute. Water glycerol marbles lasted the longest, with the oldest survivor making it to 465 days after its birth. The team believes that the glycerol was able to absorb water from air to compensate with evaporation and also stop the bubble from draining enough water to rupture. So, what exactly is the point of a geriatric bubble? Some suggest that the science be used in medicine and consumer products. I could imagine that the general problem of preventing evaporation could have many physical applications. New York University math professor Lev Ristov, who wasn't involved in the study, who studied bubbles in the past, told NBC News, "I'm daydreaming here, but I could imagine it might be useful to armor little droplets and aerosols and sprays and make them last longer in air." He added, for example, some sort of medicine that's administered by spraying and breathing in the aerosol. The researchers behind the study, however, yet to comment on the possible use cases of their Titan bubble. There's a kind of usage for that. It's just grant money wasted. Okay, this is a little more interesting story here. Monster black hole spotted giving birth to stars. A Hubble telescope has spotted 500 light year long umbilical cord for baby stars. Astronomers have spotted a black hole giving birth to stars at the center of a nearby dwarf galaxy. The stellar newborns are tethered to the black hole by a massive umbilical cord made of gas and dust. The supermassive black hole, situated roughly 34 million light years away in the galaxy, hence 2 to 10, has been spewing an enormous 500 light year long jet of ionized gas from its center at around 1 million miles per hour, 1.6 million kilometers, contributing to a firestorm of new star formation in a nearby stellar nursery. The discovery made using NASA's Hubble Space Telescope in the first time a black hole in a dwarf galaxy, in galaxy with 1 billion or fewer stars, has been seen birthing stars. The remarkable finding has been described in a study published January 19th in the Journal of Nature. From the beginning, I knew something was unusual and special was happening, and Hennies 210, and now Hubble was provided a very clear picture of the connection between the black hole and the neighboring star, forming a region located 230 light years from the black hole. A study to offer Amy Raines, an astrophysicist of the Montana State University, said in a statement, "Hubble's amazing resolution clearly shows a corkscrew-like pattern in the velocities of the gas, which we can fit in the model of a processing or wobbling outflow from a black hole. Astronomers observed the jet's fin tendril stretching out from the black hole and across space in a bright stellar nursery. Supermassive black holes, which are millions to billions in size of stellar mass black holes, which have been spotted spewing cosmic plumes before, but until now, astronomers thought that these jets hindered rather than helped star formation in dwarf galaxies at only 30 million light years away. Hennies 2 for 10 is close enough that Hubble was able to capture both images and stereoscopic evidence of a black hole overflow very clearly." Lead author Zachary Shute, a Graduate student of the Montana State University said in a statement, the additional surprise was that rather than suppressing star formation, the workflow was triggered the birth of new stars. Black holes that make jets that spew from them by sucking in material from nearby gas clouds, or stars that before slingshotting it back into space in the form of blazing plasma traveling close to the speed of light. If heated in the right temperature, the gas clouds that make the contact with the jet will then become ideal nurseries for future stars. But getting to the Goldilocks zone is crucial. If the jets heat the gas clouds up too much, they can lose their ability to cool back down to the way necessary for star formation, according to NASA. But with the gentle, less massive outflow from the black hole in Headice 210, gas conditions were perfect for star formation. As this black hole has remained relatively small over time, the researchers believe that studying it in a more detail can help them to understand the smaller origins of larger supermassive black holes in the universe, that what process made them balloon to such an enormous scale, plus the high resolution method the team developed to spot the black hole's dim signature can now be used to find others like it. The era of the first black holes is not something that we have been able to see, so it has really become the big question: where did they come from? Rain said dwarf galaxies may retain some memory of the black hole seeding scenario that others have lost to time and space. And that is all the time we have today. A little longer show. First, I was trying to decide if I should have any science reports. Because I like the other day I was just doing the unexplained mystery type stuff, but I don't know. A lot of that stuff, is entertaining, but a lot of times yeah, a lot of it, is just kind of hearsay, and it is not very tangible evidence. And I'll do those stories when they pop up, but I feel like doing weird science stories is also very important, and it just adds some more diversity to these to the what the show could be on a daily basis. Well, thank you everyone.